Well, that movie was all just one big case of mistaken identity. North by Northwest. North by Northwest was released in 1959 and of course is directed by the master of suspense, Alfred Hitchcock, who up to this point in his career directed such films like Spellbound, Dial M for Murder, Vertigo, and my personal favorite, Rear Window. The big stars of the movie are of course Cary Grant, Eva Marie Saint, and James Mason. Cary Grant plays Roger Thornhill, who is an ad man in New York City, and in my opinion, the most tolerable one. Beginning of the movie, he is at a bar having a few drinks with some clients, and at the bar, one of the waiters calls out the name George Kaplan, and as he is doing this, Cary Grant's character is waving for the waiter to come over so that he can deliver a telegram to one of his clients. And because of this simple wave to a waiter, that caused a huge shitstorm for him for the rest of the movie. Now, two hitmen who are looking for George Kaplan mistake Mr. Thornhill for him, of course, when he waved down the waiter. The two men take Mr. Thornhill to their boss, Mr. Van Dam, and they try to have him killed. See, Mr. Van Dam is into some pretty shady stuff, and George Kaplan is a secret agent hot on his trail. Thornhill does escape, however, and now he's trying to trace down the real George Kaplan just to straighten up all of this mess that he's in. And on his journey to find the real George Kaplan, he encounters car chases, framed murders, a beautiful blonde by the name of Eve Kendall, and low-flying crop-dusting planes with machine guns. Yep. Hitchcock is definitely the master of suspense. Now, this movie is hailed as one of Alfred Hitchcock's greatest films and has great significance in the history of movies. Now, this movie was shot in VistaVision, which was a higher resolution of the 35mm film format. Now, not many films were shot like this during this time. It was very rare. Now, this movie does have some very iconic action sequences that are very important to the history of movies. Scenes like the drunken car chase, but probably more iconic is the low-flying crop duster plane sequence. You've probably already seen this scene where Cary Grant is running towards the camera and the plane is coming at him from behind. Very iconic imagery. And just like in all of his movies, we get the famous Hitchcock cameo here. We actually get his cameo pretty early in the movie. He's trying to get onto a bus and the door slams in his face. Classic Hitchcock. But I don't want this movie review to be about the history of this movie and why it's important. I want to talk about just the movie viewing experience. Now, this movie is 2 hours and 16 minutes long, but believe me when I tell you, it does not feel like that. The pace is fast, it's short, it's actually a very easy watch. And I have to imagine that this script was probably a blast to write. Every scene takes you farther down this maze. It opens a door, you walk into a room, you open another door, and another door, and another door. It just keeps going. And you just keep asking yourself, what else is going to happen to this Thornhill character? Sometimes you think the movie is done, and then all of a sudden something else happens and right back into the plot. But you're just so enthralled with the movie that you just go along with it. You want to know what happens next. And you gotta love films like that, always keeping the audience engaged and always keeping them guessing as to what's gonna happen. Cary Grant plays the fish out of water very well in this movie. He is basically the audience's eyes into the plot of this movie. When he says, "What the hell is going on?" we are saying, what the hell is going on? I have no idea. The man is super tall, too. It's funny, he's on the run from the cops in this movie, but I'm just sitting there thinking, the dude stands like a foot taller than all the other people in the train station. How could you not pick him out? Watching him in this movie, I kept thinking that he could have been a really great James Bond if he had the chance. Very suave, very charming, and not bad to look at. And a quick little mention of the costuming of this movie. That suit that he wears is probably one of the most iconic tailored suits in the history of film. I mean, look at this. It's perfect. And Grant does have that stereotypical cadence that you think of when you think of classic movies. Get my secretary on the phone. I need her to send a telegram to my mother. Yes, of course I want the brandy and the cigarettes. What do you think I am? 1950s men. So chauvinistic. Ah, yes. The famous Hitchcock blonde fetish. But whatever, Eva Marie Saint is absolutely beautiful in this movie. She plays her character with such intrigue and very mysterious, very enjoyable to watch. We're not exactly sure how to feel about her at first, but definitely intrigued. Her sexual innuendos with Grant in the train car scene, that's pretty fun to watch too. You know, if I were single and I had a woman being that blunt with sexual innuendos to me, I probably wouldn't pick up on it. It would go right over my head. Story of my life. And I kept wondering where I have seen James Mason before. Watched the whole movie. And I had no idea. It bothered the crap out of me. And afterwards I looked him up and I found out he was Captain Nemo. You know that classic 2000 Leagues Under the Sea movie? Knew I saw him somewhere. He is very debonair in this movie, and I really didn't get a sense of villainous or evilness from him. Actually, it really didn't click with me as to why we were rooting against him in this movie, other than he was trying to kill our main character. He does have a MacGuffin in this movie. He's trying to smuggle some film out of the country, but to me, that just kind of feels small in comparison to the grand scope of this movie. All I will say is that he definitely needs to fire his henchmen. Seriously, if they would have picked up the correct George Kaplan, this whole thing could have been avoided. Dumbasses. Originally, I thought I was going to give this film a perfect score just to its importance of film history, but rewatching it, I did notice two things that really bothered me, really took me out of the experience, and I think is forcing me to lower my grade just a little bit. First, the ADR in the crowd scenes in this movie, I'm sorry, they're really bad. And actually, we see it right off the bat in this movie. Cary Grant is walking down the streets of New York, he's talking with his secretary, and you can definitely tell that the sound is not syncing up with his lips. Really bothered me, and I really couldn't look past it. And it wasn't just that time, too. Really, any time that they were outside in a crowd, you could see sync was not there. I think that this movie is a case where the movie is great, but the ending is not, and it almost destroys the movie for you. This is going to get spoilery, so if you don't want to know, stop listening, skip ahead like a minute or so. At the end of the movie, Cary Grant is holding on to Eva Marie Saint on Mount Rushmore, and everything is indicating that she's going to lose her grip and she's going to fall to her death. And we get several cuts between close-ups of Cary Grant and Eva Marie Saint going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But then as Cary Grant puts one more effort in to drag her back up, all of a sudden the movie transitions into Cary Grant pulling up Eva Marie Saint onto a bed on a train car. You have this very intense scene where death is on the line, only to be quickly snapped out in a matter of seconds into this beautiful little love scene. He's calling her, well, Mrs. Thornhill, and the movie just suddenly ends. So we were clipping along for 2 hours and 16 minutes. And then the whole ending of the movie takes no more than 20 seconds. I wouldn't be surprised if it was 10 seconds long. It just annoyed the crap out of me. Maybe I'm just being very picky, but I'm sorry, I felt cheated by that ending. With how great this movie was up until then, I just wanted something a little bit more substantial. I don't know, that's just my taste. Maybe you disagree. So everyone, North by Northwest is a marvelous achievement in the history of movies with the action set pieces and its fast-paced dialogue. However, I did find some things that did take me out of the experience, like the ADR and the rushed ending. And because of those final two issues, I would have to give North by Northwest 4.5 out of 5 Blu-rays.
I think I see blue. He looks glorious.
See, I was nice. I only took it down half a disc. But that's the beauty about movies. Actually, that's the beauty about art, actually. It's all subjective. I could feel one way about a movie, and you could feel the complete opposite about the same movie. Thing is, if we both are able to give credible reasons as to why we feel that way, we're both right. Alright everyone, now comes my favorite part in my videos where I randomly select which movie I'm going to be watching next. Let's take a look. Haha! Network! This is a first for my channel. I bought this movie and I have never watched it before. But the reason why I got this movie was because I heard the script is one of the best scripts ever written. I do know that this movie won several different Academy Awards. I think Best Original Screenplay was one of them. I think it was nominated for Best Picture, but I don't know what it lost to. Oh, it lost to Rocky. That's a pretty tall order. Well, hey, you know what? I'm excited. I finally get to watch it. So guys, have you seen North by Northwest? What did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across it because of my video, please comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And once you're done commenting, please like and subscribe to my channel so you know the next time I'm posting my next movie review. So everyone, I will see you next time with my review of Network. In the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.